In this episode, I give you my thoughts on some of the top storylines coming out of NFL Week 3. Episode 52 of N1 from the End Zone starts now.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, I want to take a brief moment to thank all of you guys, my subscribers, for being a part of N1 from the End Zone. As we continue to grow, we have now surpassed over 6,000 subs. I really do appreciate all your love and support. Don't forget to leave a comment and let me know if you agree or disagree with my takes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. So the Niners just lost the Rams 27-20 fucking 4. At what point do we move off of the guy that clearly has been costing us games in crucial situations? And it hasn't gotten better. Last year in Minnesota and in Cleveland, Brock put the team in a position to take a lead, in a position to kick a field goal where we could have potentially won the game. And what happens when the going gets tough and it matters the most? Jake Moody misses a field goal. NFC Championship game. Brock was able to overcome that. But again, Jake Moody missed a field goal in a crucial moment in the game. Super Bowl. Jake Moody missed a field goal at a crucial part of the game. Today, the Niners had a 14-point lead. And yes, the defense gave that up. The defense gave it up. Multiple big plays. Same with special teams. But Brock drove them down the field. They were taking up a good chunk of time. He didn't allow a negative play, and he put the team in field goal range again with another opportunity to take a 2-score lead to make it 27-17. To make it 27-17. And what happens? Jake Moody, again at a crucial moment in the game, misses another field goal. That doesn't excuse what we saw from the defense. Overall, I thought the defense had done a great job through the majority of the game. Brock didn't put the ball in harm's way. Yes, there was a fumble. I understand that, but I put that on McKivitz because McKivitz has been allowing pressures. Like he's been a problem at right tackle this entire season. He was a problem last year. This is why I think Dominic Pooney should be playing right tackle over right guard. If they want McKivitz out there, they need to move him into right guard because I genuinely believe Pooney would be a better right tackle than McKivitz at this point in time. Because what the cause of that fumble was literally they chopped his fucking hands and they got to Brock while he was about to throw it, and he fumbled the ball. Juwan Jennings had a big game, stepped it up. No interceptions. Drove the fucking ball down the field with his legs and his arm. Overall, he played well. And again, in another crucial moment in the regular season or when it matters at a crucial time in the game, the kicker does not follow through. At what point, and I've been saying this since last year, do we move off of Jake Moody or put him in a position where, okay, enough is enough? Enough is enough. Now we're 1-2. Yes, we're injury plagued, but we should have won that game. We should have won that game. We should have won that game. We didn't have Kittle. We didn't have Debo. We didn't have CMC. And we were still dominating and whooping that ass up and down that field. Dominating time of possession. Well, not dominating time of possession. I think it was overall split. But we were still able to move the ball up and down that field, putting ourselves in a great position to win. Had a 14-point lead. Had a position to have another 10-point lead, and essentially the game would have been 27-27 if they still were able to mount a comeback. And then special teams giving up a big-ass return. I don't even blame Kyle because we know he's on the offensive side of the ball mainly, and he's the overall head coach. He had the guys ready to play, and throughout the entirety of the game, they were playing well, but except when it mattered the most and the momentum shifted, they couldn't get their bearings, and they gave it up. This isn't on Brock. I can't put this on Brock. Yes, I understand they stopped him, but 30 seconds left. They punt the fucking ball, and you let them basically return it for 40 fucking yards? Really? I know we're the 49ers, but that doesn't mean we allow 40 fucking yards to be returned on our asses. Come on. It's okay. We bounce back. We bounce back. It's a little hiccup in the road. We played well. Brock did not put the ball in danger. He played really well, in my opinion. The offense looked great. Juwan Jennings can clearly step it up. Ayuk is getting that rust off. But again, Ayuk is the type of player that needs to be at OTAs, at mini camp, doing all the preparation because when he got into the league and every year except for this year that he's been in the league, he's been at all the training camps, all the OTAs. He's been one of the best hard workers in the offseason. And this year, again, this is one of the marks that I have on John Lynch. Like, if we're gonna sign these guys, just get it over with. And again, some of these guys, I know Ayuk did this to himself because he made it a little bit longer, but that, like, come on, there has to be a way that if there's an understanding, get the deal done. Because if your ultimate goal is to win the championship, like, there's no reason for Ayuk to have this rust. I bet you anything next year when he's there for the entire offseason program, he's gonna be back to being one of the best receivers in the league. I think he's gonna get better from here on out, but he's one of those players that every year that he's been in the league, that's why he's gotten so good and that's why he got paid. Because every offseason he was at every offseason program. This year he wasn't. We paid him and he's struggling right now and he's not looking like he's worth what we paid him. But I believe in Ayuk, so I'm not worried about that. We just got to give him a little bit of time. There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to get to where he needs to be. The offense looked good. Once we get our weapons back, we're going to be fine. I liked what I saw from Isaac Guarendo. The defense played well. Hufanga is back. I like the rotation that they have between Brown, Mustafa, and Hoof. We just got to tighten up some things on the defensive side. But my biggest takeaway, kicker, again, position to put the team in a comfortable situation, falls flat on his face. And the moment I saw they trot his ass out there, I told myself, he's gonna miss this shit. I can't rely on Jake Moody in crucial situations to make a fucking field goal when it matters the most. And I was right. I was right. So, you guys just saw my thoughts about what I thought about the 49ers losing to the Los Angeles Rams. Now, a couple days later, reports have come out. Brock is dealing with some back soreness. Javon Hargrave is out for the season. This is becoming the season from hell for the 49ers. BA's rust. I know it's not. I know I can rely on BA to become BA again as long as he's there for the offseason program. This year, we might not see the best of BA until the second half of the season once he's basically played 7 or 8 games, worked out that rust with the live reps. I have no doubt in my mind we'll be able to see him back. But Juwan is definitely taking a step forward. Brock, he's gonna definitely have to step up this year. I think he's capable of doing it. After seeing the last couple of weeks, to be completely honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners go 9-8, 10-7. Still making the playoffs, still vying for a playoff spot. They just need to make it. They just need to make it in the dance, and then that's when I know Brock Purdy's going to take over, and he's going to lead us to another Super Bowl appearance at the very least. At the very least. Now, if we're going to win it, that has a lot of factors, and we can go over that once we cross that bridge. But realistically, right now, as of right now, I think the Niners are going to go 9-8, 10-7. The biggest loss would be Brock Purdy, in my opinion. We cannot afford to lose him. We just got to make sure we can protect him. And please, please, please move Pooney out to right tackle because that would probably shore up the offensive line woes that we've been having with McKivitz out there. He's been struggling. He hasn't gotten better since I think this is his fourth year in the league, second full-time year as a starter. He's still struggling. He's still struggling. Yeah, this is going to be the season from hell for the 49ers. The reason why I think they have the potential of making a deep playoff run is because they're struggling. They're playing well, but they're struggling because they are just depleted of talent. They're literally in ball games. Defense has to definitely make some adjustments, minor tweaks. I still think we need to go look for another kicker because I can't rely on Jake Moody in crucial game time situations when we need him to come through. The nerves just get to him. The pressure just gets to him. I think we need another kicker in that regard. But if Brock Purdy continues to play the way that he's been playing, we're gonna win games. I know we're gonna win games, especially when we got CMC, Kittle, and Debo all coming back on the offensive side of the ball. Hoof just came back. I thought he looked great. I like the rotation between Brown, Mustafa, and Hoof. So defense is deep. Defense is going to get adjusted and be more cohesive by the second half of the season. But just give it time. Niners are going to be fine. Guys, have you heard? Shady My Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. So the Chargers faced off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and my takeaway was Justin Fields played incredibly well. Threw for 245 yards, averaging 7.7 yards per attempt. This is honestly the best that I've seen him this year throwing the ball. He was only sacked twice in this game, which is big because clearly the offensive line is becoming more cohesive. They're getting more into a rhythm. And I honestly thought Justin Fields, even if he has a bad game now, shored up the starting position for the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if Russell Wilson gets healthy. He threw for 245 yards. We wanted to see him get more yardage. We wanted to see him get touchdowns. He threw for a touchdown. He rushed for a touchdown. Again, he's getting better. The more he's behind that offensive line, the more reps he gets in. His development has definitely progressed since he's gone to Pittsburgh and gotten Arthur Blank, I believe. I think Arthur Blank's their offensive coordinator. I might be wrong on that one. But I feel bad for Russ. I think if Russ wants to continue his career, they might need to trade his ass to the Miami Dolphins. Maybe Mike McDaniel can resuscitate his career. The Miami Dolphins situation, we can talk about that here in a bit, but that's a situation to keep an eye on what they might do at quarterback. I know they might go for Tyler Huntley this week. They might start him, but keep that situation in mind. Overall, Justin Fields definitely getting better. Definitely is the future for the Pittsburgh Steelers if he continues to play this way. I am shocked that they're 3-0. I didn't see them becoming this good. I didn't even think they were going to make it to 8 wins, to be completely honest with you. So Mike Tomlin does it again. Found another diamond in the rough. Justin Fields definitely progressing, and it's an exciting time for the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and they should definitely be excited because they have a dual threat quarterback who's winning you games, especially against the Chargers, whose defense I believe is one of the top defenses in the league, at least when it comes into personnel wise. You got to respect Derwin James, you got to respect Joey Bosa, you got to respect Khalil Mack, even if they are towards the latter part of their career. But hey, shout out to Justin Fields for coming up clutch when he needed to against the Chargers this week. So the Baltimore Ravens faced off against the Cowboys and were able to hold on to a 28-25 victory against the Cowboys. The game was thoroughly dominated by the Baltimore Ravens through the first 3 quarters. They were up 28-6 until the fourth quarter when the Cowboys started to mount a comeback, scoring 19 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. My biggest takeaway is Cowboys still dealing with the issues that they've been dealing with for the last 2, 3, maybe 4 years. Basically, the entire time Mike McCarthy has been there, even before that. They cannot stop the run. They cannot stop a physical team. They have elite pass rushers, but when you pound the rock and you don't allow your pass rushers to go and get at the quarterback and you're not playing with the lead, then the Cowboys' biggest weakness gets exposed. It doesn't look like they like being a very physical team. Yeah, they turned it on in the fourth quarter, but again, the game was 28-6. The Ravens, who are perpetually known for blowing it in the fourth quarter the last couple of seasons, almost blew this game again. Cowboys scored 19 unanswered, and the Ravens completely took their foot off the gas, allowing that to happen. Yes, they held on to the victory. Yes, they should feel exuberant because they're 1-2, but that is still something that they need to work on and they've been struggling with for the last couple of seasons. It's a situation to monitor. If they continue to be like this, I don't think the Ravens are legitimate threats. Yeah, they fed the ball to Derrick Henry, which is something that I think they should do more consistently, but because the point of emphasis for that offense is Lamar Jackson. I don't see them continuing that trend moving forward. I can see them next week pulling back the amount of touches that they gave Derrick Henry to about 15. Lamar throwing it a little bit more because we know that they want him to be established as a pocket passer, as a legitimate dual threat, as a passer first and then a runner. But realistically, he's the best running quarterback in the league. Yes, he has an arm at times where he can make those throws, but it's not always there. It's not always accurate. I still contend that the Chiefs are going to be even more dominant if they face them again in the playoffs against the Ravens, because that's another matchup that just gets on Lamar's head. But in regards to the Cowboys, different day, same shit. Micah continues to say that they need to be more professional, that they need to show up, and they continue to struggle to do that. So Cowboys 1-2, just like my Niners. We're both together in the same ship. I still think the Niners played better, are just a more complete, better overall team, but we're both 1-2, so I really can't talk shit, even though I just did. So on Monday Night Football, there were two games. One of those games was the Buffalo Bills facing off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And rather than talking about how great Josh Allen looked, who is definitely proving me wrong this year because I thought he was going to be struggling now that he lost Stephon Diggs, that team is a lot better. Josh Allen went 23 for 30 for four touchdowns, four passing touchdowns, guys, for a 98.3 QBR. And he had six carries for 44 yards. Like, you can't ask them to do much. They definitely have a more overall better team than they've had in the past. The loss of Stephon Diggs has really allowed these guys to take a step forward because now they're just not feeding the ball to one guy. They're spreading the ball out evenly, which is a tremendous thing for the Buffalo Bills, not just for this year, but moving forward with Josh Allen, because now we know that Josh Allen, he is that guy. He's taking away the turnovers. He's not turning the ball over. He's not putting the ball in jeopardy. Josh Allen overall has gotten a lot better, and I look like a fool for saying that he was in the top five quarterback. I was completely wrong. He's a top five quarterback. Joe Burrow, however, he's not a top five quarterback in my opinion anymore. I don't know what's going on over there, but we can get into that here in a bit. Trevor Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, looked like ass. What the fuck is going on with Trevor Lawrence? 21 to 38 for 178 yards, literally just dinking, dunking the ball. Doug Peterson's in trouble. In my opinion, Doug Peterson's in trouble. Last year, yeah, the excuse was Trevor Lawrence was hurt at some point, but even though they started off hot, after coming off that one playoff victory where they came back against the Chargers. But since then, since been hurt and he's lost like I think seven or eight straight now coming into this year, the Jaguars should panic. They overpaid for Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. He hasn't, I don't think he deserved the contract that he got. I don't think he deserved to be at the time one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league or tied for that. And this year, he's taken a step back. I don't know what's going on. The team, in my opinion, I thought they were going to be bad this year. I still thought they were going to be bad. I thought they were going to be in like a 9-8 team. But it's a very big cause for concern, especially because Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, was adamant that he thought that this was a team that could contend for a championship, if not just the playoffs. And right now they're 0-3, and Trevor Lawrence does not look like the number one overall pick that he was supposed to be. A lot of pundits have come out and they're giving up on the guy. It's been like 4 or 5 years now, and he's still struggling.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop, located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
The second Monday night game of week 3 was the Cincinnati Bengals facing off against the Washington Commanders. And I could talk about how I was right about Jayden Daniels, how I thought the Commanders were going to be competing for the NFC East title because I thought Jayden Daniels was going to be able to use his legs, use that arm that he has, be able to compensate for the loss of Jahan Dotson, that defense with Dan Quinn doing what it does best. And I was wrong about the defense. I ain't gonna lie about that. The defense is definitely a work in progress, but Jayden Daniels is stepping up. He is showing you why he was, I think, the second overall pick in this draft. And he's going to definitely be winning Rookie of the Year this year if he continues this trajectory and helps the Washington Commanders compete for the NFC East title, if not just be competitive. Maybe keep him in the conversation to make the playoffs. Caleb Williams is definitely struggling, and right now I feel like Jayden Daniels through the first at least 3 weeks has a stronghold for that award. When it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, what the fuck is going on with Joe Burrow? Like Joe Burrow, he putting up his stat nines just like Brock Purdy. They going fucking 300 yards, throwing for three touchdowns. They doing their thing. Even Jamar Chase, he's been balling out. He finally been balling out this game. He got 6 balls for fucking 118 yards, 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. He was on point. Burrow was on point. You know what hasn't been on point? Their run game. I believe losing Joe Mixon is definitely taking a toll. Yeah, they have a dual running back system now with Brown and Moss, but in my personal opinion, Mixon was really a versatile back. He was at that not at the same caliber of CMC or Saquon Barkley, but he was right below that. And I think the loss of him has definitely impacted this team to an extent. Now, the offense definitely isn't the issue. It's definitely that defensive side of the ball. I think moving off of Jesse Bates a couple years ago was a mistake, and it hasn't gotten better since. They're still allowing 30 points a game. It's definitely going to be a work in progress, and now they're 0-3. Will they make the playoffs? I don't think so. It's going to be a big hill to climb. They're going to have to go 2-1, 2-1, just to be able to get back to being at what 4-5. And their schedule isn't light, in my opinion. They got a tough division with the Browns, who show you spurts at times, who I think have a winning record against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They got the Ravens, who I think is also another tough out, and the Steelers, who don't go away, and they're the number one team in that division. So one's 3-0, one's 0-3. It's going to be an interesting hill in battle for Joe Burrow this year, just to be able to be considered dominant again. Like I think because of this, he's going to lose some of that elite prestige, especially if he goes throughout the whole season healthy. But we will wait and see on that. We'll be monitoring that situation closely, ladies and gentlemen. So the last NFL topic we're going to be covering in this episode is that Bryce Young, in my opinion, is in trouble. The Carolina Panthers trotted out the red rifle, Andy Dalton, who a lot were calling the red water pistol at this point. And boy, he threw for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns, 26 of 37. He made that offense for the Carolina Panthers cohesive and go, something that Bryce Young hasn't been able to do since he's been with the Carolina Panthers since last year. This year, I thought Dave Canellis, for what he was able to do with Baker Mayfield last year, Bryce was going to be able to take the step forward and become better. But through the first 2 games of the season, he's looked terrible, almost as bad as Will Levis. I think just a little bit worse, because there's been moments where Will Levis does make the right throw, does have his team in positions to win, and then he loses them the game. In this situation, Bryce Young doesn't even put his team in a position to be competitive. And this week they went with the red rifle Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton came out gangbusters, 36-22, smacked the shit out of the Las Vegas Raiders. And now, in my opinion, this has a lot of questions to be asked on Bryce Young, because Bryce Young, he was a number one overall pick. Bryce Young was supposed to be the savior of this franchise, and a lot of teams were supposed to be inquiring about Bryce Young to see where the Carolina Panthers would want to move him. They are blaming the Carolina Panthers for the development of Bryce Young. And in my personal opinion, you had Frank Reich last year, who was your head coach. He didn't even make it through the entire season, because he knew Bryce Young was going to be a bust. He saw it in practice on a day-to-day basis, and he wanted, I think, to make a move back to Andy Dalton, and the owner didn't want it, and they fired his ass. And now this year, Dave Canellis, he wasn't going to let that shit happen to him. He gave him 2 games. Didn't look like any better from last year. He's seen him in practice. He's seen him in OTAs. He doesn't know how to read the NFL game yet. And he puts out the red rifle, and what happens? They goddamn nearly blow out. They blew out the Raiders. So I think Bryce Young, he's going to probably be moved. He might not get another starting opportunity, in my opinion, because unlike Justin Fields, he has not, like, in my opinion, ever put out decent enough tape that shows that he's an NFL starting caliber quarterback. Maybe in a couple years he can be like Geno Smith, but right now, as of right now, he's got a long way to go, in my personal opinion.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast, where we break down all the latest content and talk about life, Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what time it is? It's time for Empowering with Positivity. For today's segment, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you guys to go check out Shady Mob Live. Alex, the man Angelov, and myself are beginning to live stream on YouTube through Zoom on our Shady Mob channel. Go check that out. We're just having interesting conversations, giving you our thoughts on our day-to-day lives, thoughts on stuff to watch, stuff, just general life conversations. We want to be people that we can connect with you guys and just share our personal life stories, not just from a financial aspect like the man does it, or from a sports and wrestling aspect like Yo King does it, ladies and gentlemen. We want to give you an inside look of what it takes to build a production company from the ground up, and we want to document it. We want you guys to be a part of this journey. So guys, go check out Shady Mob Live on the Shady Mob Productions channel here on YouTube. We would love your support. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the man's channel, subscribe to Shady Mob Productions. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, guys, I just said this. Please subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Share this with your friends, families, and partners. Make some money with my picks. Listen to my sports takes, or just watch for some positivity. Always remember, desire is power, and if you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching another episode of N1 from the End Zone. I love and appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more.
Baby, you've been blaming me. You've been blaming me. You